the bottom of the sea. I'll stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream. I'm at the bottom of the ocean. I'm at the bottom of the sea. I'll stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream. I'm at the bottom of the sea. I'll stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Hi, Lieutenant. How are you doing? Aw, did you find your land nav point, Lieutenant? Good job, Lieutenant. You get a
Expert Action Badge.
put on your uniform right,
Expert Action Badge.
show up to work on time,
Expert Action Badge.
qualify on your weapon,
Expert Action Badge. Badge of Action.
find your guide on.
Expert Action Badge.
That's right, just doing your normal warrior task and drills, you get a
Expert Action Badge.
Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
Shit in a bag, Pogue. Badge of Action. The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. Action Badge.
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Feng shui the pad, you know what I'm saying? So, well, Andrew, welcome. Thank you so much for showing up. This is Sergeant's Time. This is a U.S. Army WTF Moments, WTF Nation Radio joint. And this is the spot where we talk all things Army, all things mill news. Just today though, with a little swag of some guests that come by sometimes, military guests. And then of course Monday we have the Monday edition, and then we have Friday Night Freedom with Kaz and Pooks. Tuesday is of course Pop Culture Warrior, and then Thursday is our time. So neat photo, yeah. What was I gonna say? What was I saying? I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent there, Andrew. I gotta discuss the wares and talk about the show lineup, and then introduce the unindoctrinated to what we do for U.S. Army WTF Moments. Is it Man Love Thursday? Well, I've been broadcasting a T-shirt and Ranger panties, so. What's up, Andrew? Woo, woo, woo. What you doing, man? I'm spoken for, though. I already have somebody that might get the ass if you're flirting with me in the chats, right, Michael? So, new here. This is a new show, Heath. Brand new show, a narcissistic show at that, of excellence. But anyways, what was I saying? Yeah. At any rate, so welcome to Sergeant's Time. I know the news has been kind of crazy, kind of stupid, kind of rah, blah blah blah. What is this, an NCOPD? What now? What NCOPDS? That's not coffee. Actually, it is coffee Bustelo. However, it has a touch of Bailey's inside of it. Finishing off my alcohol and stuff because I'm getting ready to got a alcohol clearinghouse. So I got a twink. So I might kind of, if I start going off on tangents and stuff like that. But it's been a busy week in the news. I know it's pretty hard to talk about what's been going on without shooting the shit about what happened in Texas. So that's really fucking unfortunate. As more details roll out, you're just reading the news and seeing how infuriating it is just to see what's been going on, and I'm speechless. But at any rate, So breaking news, well, not breaking news, but recent released news coming out right now that kind of has me fucking riled up. It's kind of got me pissed off in the military sense, on the military side of the house, is that they released the names, the possible names for the renaming commissions, names of Arturo, man, you're reading my mind, Arturo. Dale pues. Arturo Ariano. Junior. I know what you're saying, man. What do I think about the new name about Fort Bragg? Fort Liberty? Bruh. Fort Liberty. Just recently released news. The Congressional Renaming Commission has decided to come out with the whole new listing of names for renaming of the names that have been named, installations that have been named after the Confederate losers. Yep, Fort Bragg is Fort Liberty. Fort Bragg is, and Fort Benny's going to be Fort Moore, named after General Moore and his wife. You know how people say they have, when somebody cheats, they have joint Facebook accounts? So now we're going to have a joint installation. Fort Sharkies, that's right. Matter of fact, I did make a comment like that. I did make a comment. That's what it was named after. Fort Liberty's named after a stripper at Sharky's Cabaret. Blessed be. If you've not been Bragg, and you've not, exactly, Gary, why Liberty? Why Liberty? The fact that they named it Fort Liberty, I don't know if they were realizing who were just what they were, Philip says that that there's a law that made soldiers of the Civil War Confederate side into the U.S. Army, and why rename now? I'd like to see that. Everybody knows that Fort Liberty was chosen for the stripper named Liberty that entertained thousands of troops before the club Sharkies was permanently shut down, right? However, Dazzle, Sierra, Lola, Crystal, and Tiffany, Angel, and Candy were unavailable for comment, of course. Joke written by me. Yeah, Fort Liberty. I remember that chick. Shugart Gordon. I was more of a Fort Gavin and Fort Ridgeway would have been my choices. And Fort Benning would have been Fort Alwyn Cash for me. It's just me. I don't know. So, or Fort Benavides for Fort Hood. Nah. Instead they went with some names that some individuals have never heard of. Heard of through history, of course, but kind of obscure. You would think that the first criteria would have been individuals who've won the Medal of Honor. Or I should say, recipients of the Medal of Honor. Anything to change Fort Campbell? Yeah, exactly. Fort Campbell. Oh, man. Or Fort Rucker, or Fort Benning. I just want to see the cringe of the Fort Benning. I guess all you need to do is have a book written about you and a movie made, and you'll get a poster named after you. Harsh? You think it's harsh to say that about General Moore? I think there were other candidates that would have long been a better name. Again, I'm going on the Medal of Honor recipients. And yes, Baconator. There is going to happen to all the branches. They're going to do this with Navy ships. They're going to do this with the installation facilities named after individuals. I would have loved to have seen something like Harriet Tubman, the godmother of unconventional warfare. I don't know why Intel decided to name an installation or a facility for them. Good on them, of course. I would have loved to have seen that. For Harriet Tubman, or the Harriet Tubman of Harriet Tubman installation, or Harriet Tubman Ranger School. I just like getting everybody pissed off anyway. So, the God, a name of a military base, offends me. People, for fuck's sake, people are so soft. Now you can't say back at Bragg anymore. You got to say back at Liberty. Back at Bragg, back at Liberty, back at Liberty. Cat West is gone, or as we called it, a shitty kitty. So everyone says I'm a little too harsh on that. Hang on, let me see. Can you guys hear me? Someone's saying my mic is low. Fort Helen Keller for third ID. I'm surprised individuals didn't have it. Oh, hang on, let me see. You guys hear me? Someone saying my mic is low? Yeah. Fort Helen Keller for... Yeah, I'm loud. I'm loud and loud. Loud, loud, and loud. There you go. 1,000 loud. Fort Helen Keller. Okay, let me... I should at least talk to the story and talk about the naming commission. And let me see. So they even had names and stuff like that. All right, Andrew. Peace out, man. Thanks for listening. Jump right back in. Know that you can always go to the Facebook timeline. You don't even have to listen to Facebook. You go to YouTube, Twitch, and the other Facebook pages as well as Twitter, if you want the Twitters. All the Guat vets are going to be confused because Fort Liberty means something different. Right? Not happy with it. Not happy with the names. Fort Benning is recommending Fort Moore. Fort Bragg is going to be Fort Liberty. Fort Gordon is going to be Fort Eisenhower. Like there isn't any other fucking thing named Eisenhower of Eisenhower. I think we got enough Eisenhower for days. A lot of Eisenhowers going on. As a matter of fact, the hospital on Fort Gordon is named Eisenhower. Fort A.P. Hill, Fort Walker, the first woman Medal of Honor recipient. I could see that. Fort Hood recommendation, Fort Cavazos, the first Latino 3-star, I think 4-star. And Distinguished Service Cross recipient from the Korean War. Would have been better with Fort Benavides. Just saying. Fort Benning, Fort Victory Drive. Yeah, exactly. You mean naming them that for recipients? Yeah. Fort Lee. Fort Lee has been named for 2 individuals. Fort Gregg-Adams. Fort Pickett. Recommendation. Fort Barfoot. Fort Polk. Renamed to Fort Johnson. You need to write your Congress people on this, man. I'm not cool with these names. Not at all. Fort Rucker, named after Fort Novosel. Then, of course, Fort Benning, Fort Moore, named after Hal and Julia Moore. The naming commission was comprised of, what about Fort Wainwright? Was comprised of Admiral Michelle Howard, U.S. Navy retired, chair. Brigadier General Ty Seduel, I don't want to mess up that name. Seduel, U.S. Army retired, vice chair. Lieutenant General Thomas Bostic, U.S. Army retired. Mr. Jerry Buchanan, General Robert Neller, U.S. Marine Corps retired. And Mr. Lawrence Romo, Dr. Corey Shea, and of course, U.S. Representative Austin Scott in Georgia. Georgia trying to corner the market of all the names. Should have been Fort Alwyn Cash. So the Naming Commission has announced also in their press release at www.thenamingcommission.gov. The Naming Commission has an important role of renaming mechanisms that exemplify U.S. military and national values. Through numerous community engagements and thousands of direct submissions via our website, gain tremendous feedback and insight to help ensure the names are recommended to Congress. I submitted names as well. I encouraged everybody, I think a few SGT'S Time back. What was the criteria? Exactly that, Jordan. What was the criteria? I know for Fort Benning was a popularity contest. I'm not dissing freaking General Moore, man. I'm not dissing him at all. Or his spouse for what they did. Again, the standards got to be set high for this. A Medal of Honor recipient should have been immediate. All Medal of Honor recipients should have been the first one on the top of the list. Believe it or not, everyone's talking about the diversity of the names. Well, believe it or not, a lot of the majority of Medal of Honor recipients are pretty diverse. Latino, Black, Asian Pacific, Native American, women. A lot of them fit that criteria. Fort Bragg should have been named Fort Reed. The same criteria that got the universal ACU pattern and Sergeant Major of the Army Chandler. Exactly that. That's what went into this. Unbelievable. So again, the naming commission.gov was the name. So let's dive deep a little bit more. Why Fort Moore for Fort Benning? I've already beat the dead horse right there, but I'm going to continue to beat it. To be renamed in commemoration of Lieutenant General Hal Moore and Julia Moore. Perception to me is, yeah, I already said it earlier. I guess you just need a book and a fucking movie, and there you go. Popularity contest. Fort Bragg to be renamed to Fort Liberty because to be renamed in commemoration of the American value of liberty. What's up, David? Fort Eisenhower to Fort Gordon to be renamed in commemoration of General Dwight D. Eisenhower. Why? Why? The Army's probably excited to rename Hood for rebranding purposes. Yeah, exactly. Fort Walker to rename, of course, from AP Hill, renamed in commemoration of Dr. Mary Edwards Walker. Beating horses is not allowed at Fort Benning. Yeah. Yeah, Fort Benning is really the home of domestic violence. I thought that was Bragg. Or is that Fort Hood? I can't remember. Fort Cavazos, again, for Fort Hood to be renamed in commemoration of General Richard E. Cavazos. Greg Adams to be renamed in commemoration of Lieutenant General Arthur J. Gregg and Lieutenant Colonel Charity Adams. What about Fort Schwarzkopf? I don't know about that. Again, Medal of Honor recipients. Why can't we have... Oh, there be a Fort Floyd. Harsh. Walker, Texas Ranger. I'm not happy with the names. Now, I'm not saying that they're bad names. I'm just saying that I thought the criteria of naming the names would have been a little bit different than just in commemoration of Hal Moore and his wife, and commemoration of General Cavazos. That would be something badass to have somebody who's a Medal of Honor recipient. Yeah. If we were going with that type of shit, then damn. You really can't have a standard met or the highest of the standard. What is the solution? I just said that. The naming convention should have been individuals who were received the Medal of Honor. That'd have been it. We got a lot of Medal of Honor recipients. That'd have been it. I think that will no more hold a higher standard to a Medal of Honor recipient as opposed to, because this individual was important to the community, then give them a freaking volunteer service medal or some shit. Blake said that the Bragg should have been renamed to Fort Plumley for Sergeant Major Plumley. The attitude of most at Bragg. Airborne all the way. Yeah. Easy now. Calm down. Let's not get the 82nd too freaking riled up. Because then they'll think everything's going to be named. It is the 82nd. The division, I should say. The only division, right? It just feels like a popularity contest at this point. It doesn't feel like there's no weight to it. There's no weight to the naming. That's just me. Again, not taking away from the names, not taking away from the individuals, but if that's the standard you're really holding up to, I was heavy on the campaign for Fort Alwyn Cache and renaming the Maneuver Center the General Sherman Maneuver Center of Excellence at Fort Alwyn Cache. I think anything that has to do with Sherman should be renamed, and anything at Fort Benning, just to get everybody. Yeah, exactly that, Jordan. See, exactly that. The highest honor. Heath, you got an ARCOMP bro. I got an arc too. Fort Narcissist. Oh man, Fort McBodie face, McBoat face. We'll be back to renaming this in 20 years exactly. God, that sucks, man. I wonder Fort Alwyn Cash or Fort Benning. I wanted to see Fort Gavin or Fort Ridgeway for Fort Bragg. A buddy of mine says that now that name sounds so freaking crazy. It kind of changes the name, like Predator, the movie Predator. I knew these men, these Green Berets out of Fort Liberty. Wow. Give me that meritorious service medal I kept supply, right? Exactly that, Jordan. Fort Spake. There you go. Let's see what would have had. Fort Sacrifice. Yeah, see? God, this. Leave it to the just messed. It's like, did you ever read the Pulse or see what the individuals are talking about? Individuals that don't go visit their soldiers and stuff. That's what it seemed like. These are the individuals that were selecting. Again, why did we came up with these names? Why did you come up with those names? Fort Liberty. Hey. We'll still call it Bragg. Back at Bragg. Exactly. Back at Bragg. Fort Liberty could be named to Fort Meade or Drum, closer to the statue at best. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good point. You think Fort Liberty would be like to the Statue of Liberty? Exactly. No. Back at Liberty. Back at Bragg. Yeah, man, I was back at Liberty. Liberty. Emu. That's going to be the new post installation for Fort Bragg. Is going to be the emu. And the Liberty jingle. Liberty Mutual Insurance. They're going to name Fort Old Glory is going to be the next one. Yeah, exactly. Fort Freedom. It's time to name the bases Fort Freedom. The reason why I'm talking like that is because I'm working on a skit that has to do with the SFAB or the SFAC. So I'm that type of accent, that lisp, I'm kind of using. Fort Glory Hole. Back at Liberty. Fort Glory Hole. It's a pretty big installation. That'd be Fort Campbell, right? Yeah, so I'm not happy to say the least. Well, I should not say not happy, just disappointed that they decided to choose those names. Especially like the double names, like General Moore named for his wife again. Like not notice your audience when you see somebody with a joint Facebook account. It's like somebody with a joint installation name. Yeah, just down at the Merc. Man, I haven't been in the Merc in a long time. A long time. They have some pretty good taco trucks on the Merc too. But at any rate, so that's the deal with that. I know several units today had Memorial Day ceremonies and all that. At Fort Bragg, Staff Sergeant Ryan Nowes was added to the USASOC Memorial Wall. Long live TPT 9000. Rest in peace, buddy. It was added to the memorial wall today, attended by his family, fellow soldiers, and top Army brass in the area. So you guys know he was one of the service members that was killed in the evacuation of the airport at the bombing at the Abbey Gate during our withdrawal from Afghanistan. So, pretty fucking sad. So, okay, what was the other news at? Oh, speaking of airborne, yeah. Speaking of airborne, you ever notice that everyone talks about how irrelevant airborne is, or the techniques of airborning? and like to talk about how it is a relevant method of employment of troops. You ever notice that? But did you know what's being activated on D-Day? It ain't a striker unit. It ain't an armor unit. I'll throw some hate out. Yeah, hell yeah. I'll throw some hate out. Another airborne division is going to get activated. Yeah, airborne, son. You think paratroopers are insufferable now? Wait until the 11th Airborne Division gets activated on June 6th, which is the anniversary of D-Day. I think that's badass. Knees in the breeze, son. Oh man. I actually have leg tears in my coffee cup as well as Bailey's and Coffee Bustelo because I kind of enjoy the cringe or the ew or the crying that the rest of our colleagues and fellow professionals are upset, butthurt, and quemada about the fact that another airborne division is being activated. I'm just going to rub that in. The 11th Airborne Division, the Angel Division. Did you know that the 11th Airborne Division at one time, they had the Rakkasans in their organization? Wait a minute. How about if we get the Rakkasans, remove them from... Yeah. Do you think the Rakkasans would be happy? You know how many... You're going to have to remove some Tories off your arm or something like that, or... I think a lot of the butthurtness of that. I just like poke. So on June 6th at 11 a.m. at Fort Wainwright, and the activation of the Angel Division, the historic 11th Airborne Division, is going to be activated up in Alaska. Can't wait. I cannot wait. Look at the glorious looking poster they got there. Join the historic. So there's going to be two divisions now. The 82nd Airborne Division and the 11th Airborne Division. Not another armored division. Not another striker organization. Matter of fact, all the strikers are leaving. Yeah, 11th Airborne Division. U.S. Army Alaska has announced on the 23rd of May, join us live for the activation of the 11th Airborne Division on D-Day, June 6th, 10 a.m. at Fort Wainwright, Ladd Army Airfield, 3 p.m., or 1500, I guess you'd say, at a Joint Base Elmendorf Richardson at Pershing Field. 4th Infantry Brigade, Combat Team, Airborne, and the 25th Infantry Brigade, and the 1/25th SBCT, whoop, whoop, Arctic Wolves will be reflagged as well. That's what I'm talking about. I can't wait. Oh, man. All those legs. Keith, very good point. I'm glad you mentioned that. The Electric Pussycat, the 35th Signal Brigade, is going back to Bragg from Gordon. Yes. Yes. Go to WTF Nation Radio's Facebook page, and of course, we will be forwarding all the airborne celebrations. It'll be a celebration. Can't wait. I can't wait. You can talk shit about the Rakkasans. You can talk shit about the 101st all you want. Aerosol's just a badge, right? Airborne is a way of life. I'm so good at push buttons. Push. Push that stuff. That's a glory. Look at that awesome poster. I just like to have that poster up. Beautiful poster. Whoever designed that poster, stud. Love it. Yeah, I'm sure those people are sad to leaving Augusta. Oh my God, I know. Are you talking about the DSurf mission or supporting the third ID and all that? Ugh, bleh. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Look at their patch too. Look at that. That's just glorious. Glorious, glorious, glorious. I love it. I am, dude. I'm pushing buttons like a cat. Dude, I'm just like, this so look at all this airborne celebrations, man. Come on. It looks like someone ripped off the Sound of Music. The hills are alive with the sound of airborne. Sponsored by the 11th Airborne Division. But your freaking legs. Can you re-enlist at 49? I'm pretty sure there's some recruiters inside the chats with Recruiter Times, and I'm pretty sure, I thought somebody told me, and maybe this is not true, that you could use your service as reduction to your age so that way you could come in. Could you imagine jumping out in Alaska and being with an airborne division in Alaska? Bro, love it. It's awesome town. It is awesome town. So don't forget, June 6th. Take a look at all the airborne accoutrements. There's going to be more Maroon Berets running around the Army. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Again, that poster, just like, I like that old school, it's almost like World War II propaganda posters. That's badass. I like that stuff. Yep, see, Recruiter Times has just confirmed that, yes, you could use your military service to take off time from your age as long as you don't hit over a certain age. So can I come back in? Dude, I don't know. Could you imagine? Do you think the Army would let me come back in if I was still doing WTF Nation radio stuff? I don't know. Do you know, I lost a lot of friends doing this shit, so guess not. We'll see. Mandatory retirement for at age 55 for the most part. Wow. Well, shit. I guess I can't come in and do airborne with you guys. That sucks. Because I'm old. That blows. How hard are they up there? How hard are they up there? You're saying how hard are they or how hard up? How hard up are they up there? Is that what you're saying? How hard up they? Pretty hard. They'll take you. We're pretty hard. We're the Angel Division. Pretty hard. Jordan says you'd take me back. Awesome, dude. I wouldn't mind coming back and just checking things out and see, hey, how's it going? Sorry, I tried to volunteer before during the COVID drama, but they said, nope, we don't need you. Thanks anyways. So again, June 6th. Pay attention to all the WTF Nation Radio socials, or specifically Facebooks. That way we can see the 11th Airborne and stuff doing the airborne thing. I love that. That's just awesome. That's so glorious. Glorious airborne of gloriouses. Of course, they're jumping with T11s, but hey, you know. I can go to the 101st. They're not real airborne anyways. Yeah, dude. 101st. Man. I think there needs to be Army organizations that have to have a visit by the Bobs, like Special Forces, the 101st Airborne Division, the SFABs. What do you do here? What exactly do you do here? Stryker brigades? What do you do? Go after the Rangers next. You mean the JSOC security augmentees? Those guys? Oh, man. I have some friends that are in the Ranger Regiment. And, of course, you know, everybody knows that me and Doc Dredd, Mike Dredd, are really good friends. And so we always go back and forth. Cav, what about Cav? Yeah, ooh, yeah, Cav. What exactly do you do here? As a matter of fact, I got some friends that are in the CAV, and there is an individual who is my honorary squadron commander, who's about ready to take a command of an organization, and he's waiting to come on, and we're going to talk CAV and discuss what CAV is all about from an armored cavalry regiment, not a division, not 1st Cavalry Division, but we're going to get him scheduled to come on so we can talk about CAV operations. I don't know what CAV does. I don't. If the Bobs came to Usurek, they would get an earful. Yeah. The S-Facts were created so the Rangers didn't have to go back to regular Army because they're, ooh, spicy. Ooh, loaded. Ooh, Lord. Spicy. Man, I don't know if I should drink this coffee, hot coffee here. It's already getting spicy here in the comments. Love it. Cav breaks souls and marriages. But they can't seem to break the plane from a freaking PT test. But anyways, I'm sorry. My buddy's gonna get mad. Hey man, I thought we were cool, man. You talk about Cav. I'll wait till he gets on here. But we got the coolest hats. Oh man, listen, you guys are in the comments. Oof, you guys are sizzling. Who at least they have the berets. Who's that? Cav doesn't want does what everybody else does. They just wanted their own name. Kind of like Cav Scouts or something like that. Everyone says almost infantry. But you guys are just fire in the comments, man. Angry. Woo. You guys are just dropping those freaking woo. Love it. I love the spice. Ooh, Lord. It's getting hot in here. You guys are just shit posting everybody. Love it. That's what I'm talking about. It all started with the 101st comment. You kind of like Cub Scouts. Cav Scouts, Cub Scouts. You guys are adorable. I love it. Love it. Keep the comments posted. I love the spice. I love the spice. Excuse me. At any rate, so right now it's about time for the Kyiv, our Ukraine update. You guys can keep talking shit in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to engage. Spanky's out right now. She's out doing stuff. So yeah, that's what we got going on. She's got stuff going on, and so and also next week there's not going to be any broadcast for the Monday edition. And then somebody said, didn't I deep six my Cav hat when I escaped them? I'm not saying I've not spent some time associated with a said Cav back in my conventional days. I did hang out with some, blow up the engineers next. No pun intended, right? I'm gonna tell you right now. This is the engineers, man. I like the engineers. I like the engineers. I don't know, combat engineers. It's hard, man. It's hard to rag on the engineers. I like the engineers. It's hard. Let's see. What I don't. Have you ever heard anything bad about the engineers? I mean, route clearance and stuff like that. Serving with them. I don't remember working with them. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember anything bad about the engineers. Yeah. Yes, Rico Kaboom. Exactly. As of 6 hours, the Kyiv Independent reports that Russia is preparing to resume an offensive. Oh, almost a drill sergeant. Russian military is training reserve soldiers to replenish equipment in Russian regions of Voronezh and Belgorod. Bordering Ukraine's Luhansk and Kharkiv Oblast and Sumy Oblast, Russians continue shelling. They'll blow you up, fix you up, and then watch you back up and blow you back up just for fun. They have a thing with bridges too. I will say what our bridging. If you guys watch the video on Facebook and or Twitter, on social media of the Russians totally fuck up a river crossing, our combat engineers, perfectly can handle that shit good. They could do bridging operations like no one's business. Lithuania foreign minister suggests that Ukraine cedes territories to Russia. Ceding territories to Russia is dangerous to us too. Lithuania's foreign minister said that such advice from some Western politicians like Henry fucking Kissinger, dude, 99 years old, stop, shut up. You know, when I retire from all this shit, I'm just going to shit post on the web and that's it. That's no more advice. As of 4 hours ago, CNN reports that Russia has lost 1,000 tanks in Ukraine since February. The Ukrainian military army has also destroyed more than 350 artillery pieces, nearly 30 attack helicopters, and more than 50 helicopters, a senior U.S. official told CNN. It's like when you order your army from Wish. The worst freaking invasion ever. They only want an acre, man. What's the problem? Exactly that, Jordan. All these people that are like simping on Ivan. I'm going to go back to this again. Wolverine, son. Ivan can kiss my ass. Fuck Putin. Not to mention all the war crimes that they're conducting there in fucking Ukraine. Man, fuck Russia. And fuck West Tyrol, too. China. Saw that. What, you guys are throwing some incursions with freaking Russia in the North Korean freaking security zone? How hard is it to say, fuck Putin? How hard is it to say, Russia can kiss my ass? Bunch of simps out there just sitting there going, oh, yeah. Oh, maybe we should, Henry Kissinger, maybe we should give land to Russia from the Ukraine. 99 years old, dude. 99 years old, still shit talking. Shit posting, telling everybody telling Ukraine what you should do. Dude, did you like fuck up Vietnam or some shit like that? 99 years old, man, and you're still fucking you're being invited to fucking forums and shit. World Economic Forums, and everyone's talking about, Henry Kissinger, Henry Kissinger, Henry Kissinger. The same guys that probably were kissing his ass to get him a fucking job, but probably part of the naming commission too. Yeah, exactly that, Recruiter Times. He's still alive. In a statement, he said that Ukraine should cede some land. Cede some. To Ivan. I'm going to watch Red Dawn after this show. Watch all the Cold War movies and shit. As of 3 hours ago, Russian shelling kills 5-month-old baby, his father, in Kharkiv. Child's mother was hospitalized in critical condition, according to the national police chief. Yeah, exactly. These guys are never going to go away. How are these guys going to go? These individuals that are still involved in politics, dude, you had your shot. Get out. You're done. He eats bootios for breakfast. Damn right, man. All this freaking time? Like you didn't do anything to shape foreign policy and you're just like coming out of the blue? That's why all the legacy leadership that's currently involved in foreign policy need to shut their holes. Clinton, the Bushes, more Bushes, Obama. They all need to shut up. You're done. Time is up. If you're sitting there simping for them, but then at the same time shit talking a veteran who's talking about being a veteran, then you're just as fucked up. The death toll in Russia's shelling in Kharkiv grows to 9. This is of course, the same story from the same story of the infant being killed. Russia kills 5 civilians in Donetsk Oblast. Enjoy my Facebook time, I know. I've been zucked. Let me see if I've been zucked. Let me look at the dashboard here. Let me look at the commander's readout here. According to this, I'm still streaming 5x5. 2 Facebook pages, YouTube, Twitch is streaming. And of course, the Twitters are still going. If you go to WTFNationRadio.com, we also got a freaking Discord in there too. Yeah, dude. Shit. Shut up. How do I freaking chat? Be there to help out. Go out there and read books to kids or something like that. I think we should give Ukraine should give Russia deletes 38,000 messages calling for protest against the war in Ukraine. Andrei Lipov, the head of the Russian state media regulator, Roskomnadzor, said that at a meeting that the regulator also removed over 117,000 fakes about the war and the Russian armed forces. Removed 1,100 posts in support of Ukraine with a total audience of over 202 million users. I wonder who's doing that. Zip zap. We should be paying hackers to take down Ivan's fucking interwebs and influence operations. Paying them. Ukraine's military repelled 12 Russian attacks in Donbass. Ukraine's operational tactic group East said that Russian forces fired on almost 50 communities, resulting in 9 civilians killed and 14 wounded. It sucks, man. I'm telling you what, Ukraine's holding them off, man. If there's anything that we all feared about Russia, ain't happening. Their tanks suck. We got some good shit. Our javelins and in-laws just lighting them up. Popping them turrets off like freaking... I never knew that was a characteristic. Sounds like Ghost in the Machine, right, Jordan? Yeah. Zip zap. Kiss my ass, Alex Jones. Say that again from Monday. I want to debate you on Joe Rogan about Cywar, what you think Cywar is all about, Alex Jones. Their ships suck too. Yeah, exactly. It blows. Reuters states that a U.S.-Ukraine discussion risk of escalation amid weapons provisions. As partners equip Ukraine with increasingly sophisticated and longer-range weapons, the U.S. spoke of the risk of escalation should Ukraine hit Russia's interior, said an unnamed U.S. and diplomatic officials. What the hell do you think was going to happen? Quote, we have concerns about the escalation and yet still do not want to put geographic limits or tie Ukraine's hands too much with the stuff we're giving them. Unquote. A U.S. official reportedly told Reuters. That's about an hour ago. The U.S. is preparing to authorize long-range rocket systems for Ukraine. According to cited officials, U.S. provided Ukraine with long-range rocket systems potentially as part of a larger military and humanitarian aid package to be announced as early as next week. Going to give them like freaking MLRSs and shit. Could you imagine HIMARS and stuff? Bring back the tow and save some money. Are we even still using them? I think we are. You guys are still spicy on the comments there. I'm not going to rag on the engineers. All of Russia sucks. If the Russia ever thought we were a world power, then this invasion that they tried on Ukraine just put them in their place. Exactly that, James. They suck. Near peer shit? Pfft, whatever. It's like they ordered their military equipment from Dollar General. Hell, even Dollar General probably has got better shit than Ivan's got. Let's see, looking through here. Just going through this. Going through that. Looks like that covers all the news coming out from the Kyiv Independent, the source that we use for all news out of Ukraine. The Independent English. Independent English language journalism in Ukraine. And just go to Kyiv Independent. You can donate to them too on their, if you go to their Twitters, or you go to our Patreon, just at patreon.com at Kyiv Independent. It's KYIV. Gary says it's bad to say, but Russia will get their goal of landlocking Ukraine as long as NATO and European offer only weapons. Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a good point. At what point do we now move into putting boots on the ground? And we've already seen the rapid deployable capabilities of the 18th Airborne Corps and the 82nd when they did their stuff. And me and, Third ID was slugging along. But they got there. In Europe. So, real quick, I think it's break time. Gotta take a break, and we'll be right back to close everything up. Appreciate you guys throwing the spice in the comments, ragging on everybody. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. Nothing wrong with some inter-service rivalries or inter-branch or unit rivalries. That's what I'm talking about. It's all one love, right? I wish you go. I wish you go live on nights that I don't have to work the next day. Sorry about that, James. But you can always look at our reader. Look at our stuff. It'll get uploaded. Once we get our website set up, we're going to be dropping stuff back on podcasts again and back at Apple Podcasts as well. So be patient, man. You'll be all right. You'll be good. Be able to see us on there. So we'll be right back. Everyone, refill your glasses. Smoke if you got them. Take a leak. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Nothing feels the same. Left it all behind. I'll wait until you come back. Come back down to me. I'll wait until you come down. Come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back. Come back down to me. I'll wait until you come down. Come back down. Hello, hello, you. Will you come back down to me? Hello, hello, you. Will you come back down? Hello, hello, you. Won't you come back down to me? Hello, hello, you.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army.
Hanging out here, broadcasting from the mountain bunker, or maybe the bunker, maybe underneath the snack bar in the middle of the Pentagon. Who knows? Thanks for coming back. I'll do some housekeeping right quick. Tomorrow, for Friday Night Freedom, Kaz and Pook's going to have a guest, Army veteran Chuka Ufumadu. We'll be on to talk about his latest project, a comic called Rocky Planet. And this is a comic to inform others the lives of soldiers or individuals dealing with PTSD. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like a third ID motif to it. So pretty excited. Pretty excited to see how this is. Again, I'm not going to be on air next week. Monday and Thursday, Sergeant's Time will not be, and the Monday edition will not be playing. So, of course, we still have CQ's report from he's at a con himself. He's at a Comic-Con, just like I was a couple weeks back. CQ's going to come back and report from his Comic-Con mission on his show, and then I think that's coming. I think that's, if you guys follow Pop Culture Warrior, let's mosey on over to Pop Culture Warrior and see what we got here. Hang on, let's see Pop Culture Warrior, and let's see. Yeah, follow him on his Facebook page at Pop Culture Warrior on the Facebooks. Let's see. So he's got next week's. Yeah, it's next week's Awesome Con in Washington D.C. So he'll be reporting, or he'll be talking about it as well. So again, don't forget. So I don't want you guys to freak out and say, how come there's no show coming? Because you guys like to hit the DMs and hit the inbox. Monday edition is not going to be a show. Tuesday is going to be Pop Culture Warrior. Wednesday's the day off. Thursday's no Sergeant's Time. Friday Night Freedom, of course, with Cos and the Pooks. And then Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll be back to normal. Again, there's going to be some posts for Memorial Day. Normally I have a Memorial Day show, but there are things that I have to knock out that prevent me from doing a Memorial Day show. So, there you go. Thanks, James. I appreciate it, dude. Well, if you guys don't have anything for me, you guys can share, like, and follow us on 2 Facebook pages, U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. You can follow us on the WTF Nation Radio YouTube page, on Twitch again, and of course the Twitters currently streaming right now. I wish you could comment on there, or people can comment on there, because there's always the individuals who like to huff their own farts that like to shit talk against the WTF Nation, and I would love to engage them back and forth as well. But oh well. Anyways, thank you guys and gals for hanging out tonight, and I'm going to post a Memorial Day taps. For the Memorial Day weekend. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Remember, this is Memorial Day. Remember those who have fallen in the service of our country. And, toast one for your fallen brothers or sisters. I know I will. I know it's a lot of individuals are going to be dealing with some rough memories. Please reach out. Don't commiserate alone, because there's a lot of individuals that are out there that will remember along with you, that will be more than happy to rather celebrate or honor them. Now, I'd rather have you talk to me than have to hear your eulogy at a funeral. So again, reach out. Thanks again for hanging out. And, y'all have a good night. See you.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.